Okay, guys. A lot of you are asking whether if you could work in Norway without speaking Norwegian. Reality versus expectations. You can, but you could also not. But that would depend on the kind of job you are seeking. But say if you wanna work for a restaurant, for example, that's English speaking restaurant, where, for example, in Oslo, when I arrived in Norway, no, that was actually in Bergen 10 years ago. Uh, Within 3 months of being there, I was able to get an interview within healthcare. And as I got into the interview, it's in a home care facility outside Bergen. As I was doing my interview, I was able to explain what I have practiced. Sorry, that's my I have a list here of how we're gonna what we're gonna talk about today. I have a list of yeah, points we're gonna be sharing. I'm sorry it's not gonna be very polished, perfect video, but I promise you to deliver as much value as I could based on my personal experiences for you people who wants to move to Norway, whether you're already in Scandinavia, want to move to Norway, or planning to move from wherever you are. But I highly suggest that you start learning the language. Come on, let's face it. It's an open country, multicultural, but uh, some people are not good with their English, although they watch English, but there's this shyness around that. But in terms of working, you would still find a job. Well, let's go back first to my experience when I had an interview face to face with an interviewer. I memorized everything. Okay, I'm from Philippines, and going back for my story, if you haven't watched some of my videos where I mentioned I came to Norway as an au pair in 2015 with my Swedish partner at that time. Now we're husband. Now he's my husband. Um, yep. At that time, I was targeting to work in the healthcare because I'm a nurse from Philippines. And so without the language, it would be very hard to work within the healthcare with that, especially when you're going to be working with older people where English is very, it's not even what they speak, depending on, if they have, I have worked with someone, with a patient who have worked in USA or who have lived in USA, and that's fine, but that's a very rare case, right? Especially if they're from outside the big cities. Most likely you'll be dealing with patients who can't speak English. Can understand a little bit, yeah. But if you're dealing with people who were born in 1930s, that would be tricky. All right, going back. So as I was saying, I memorized my Norwegian phrases and so forth. Tell me about yourself and so forth. And then once the interviewer asked me open-ended questions, then I don't know what to say. So that was kind of in Swedish we call it pinsamt. I forgot even in English now. When you're learning different languages. Yeah. Anyway, so that was like, okay, I don't know what she's talking about. So I just had to go home that day. And now looking back, I'm laughing at myself. Well, I'm happy I did it. It's an experience, And then I didn't give up. I was an au pair visa. And by the way, for those of you who don't know au pair, it means taking care of the family's kids in exchange of the free boarding, lodging, and then you do minimal household works as well. And then you're free for the rest of the day, a few hours. few hours working in their home, and then free on the weekends. So I didn't give up. I was in the city of Bergen, and there's this Sumo. I believe that's Zumo, the name of the Japanese restaurant. Correct me if I'm wrong for people who are in Bergen right now. Uh, I got a job offer actually. You don't need to speak. You don't need to speak Swedish. You don't need to speak Norwegian there, but it's nice if you could. But since it's again multicultural, in the city you meet different people, customers. Um, I was very proud. I got a job, but the only thing is I was on an au pair visa, and you're not allowed to do that. And I remember, I just want to share quickly. I remember I was so proud of myself going into UDI at that time. It's the migration department, migration office back then. I'm not sure if it's still the same. What they call, probably. Yeah, and then I got a police notification. The police came to us after I think 2 weeks, and it said, yeah, it was an ongoing back and forth paper that I'm not allowed to stay anymore. So we moved to Spain, lived there, etc. Anyway, going back to Norway. So, yep, I got the job there. Just I couldn't start, but I have started training in the restaurant. I got a shift. I got a job contract actually. But then you need to have a permit, and to be able to apply for that, you need to go to the UDI and apply for a working permit, which is again not allowed if you're an au pair visa. And these are one of the reasons why Norwegian government are getting strict too when people are not abiding to the rules. So I'm sorry about that. I'm one of those. Anyway, um, so expectations, reality versus expectations. Yeah. So I would still learn Norwegian if not on your own. What I did was doing on apps like um, Ingo app. I'm not sure if I can remember that. Some YouTube channels before, and then I'm doing on the websites, and then I also went to the school, but for a very short time that the family paid for. But I noticed that going to social gatherings and meeting Norwegians helped. But I didn't stay that long in Norway when we were there, just almost a year, and then we moved around. Anyway, my observations, if you could work without speaking Norwegian, it really depends on which work are you gonna take. Say if you're already in Norway, I think, I mean, what I did personally is I just kept sending CVs, and whatever I got, I gave it a shot. I gave my best. I play with it, and then I got a job. And yeah, that's it. Also, when past forward this 9 years, last year, I started going back to Norway because now we live by the border of Sweden and Norway. So I've driven 1 hour just one way to get to the nearest commune. Yeah, in the healthcare, it's really, really important. Even if you work as BPA, it's an assistant. It's also the same as in Sweden, personal assistant. There are some clients who are English speakers, but it's very rare. So I wouldn't really advise you to not go here without or hoping to get a job, if you know, without knowing the Norwegian, preferably intermediate if you're going for healthcare, since this channel is for healthcare. Um, what level is needed? I've just talked about that intermediate level where you can converse and you could, especially by the way, Norway has different dialects, if you have noticed that, or if you have heard from other channels too. uh personally, I'm able to also enhance my Norwegian because of I've been speaking Swedish for almost 10 years now and have lived here. And there are so many similarities, but when I work in the south of Norway and in the north of Norway, man, it was hard to understand them. Like I have to really, can you speak slowly, please? Oh, they would just laugh at me, and it's fine. People here are also nice, you know. I believe that you'll find kind people everywhere you go, no matter what background you're from. Um, and being honest, that's very important. If you don't understand, especially in healthcare, they will they will even tell you that if you don't understand something, ask. It's not being dumb, especially if you're going to take care of your patients, you know. There could be some small misinterpretations, and then boom, you know, one word. uh Actually, I would sometimes, when I talk to my colleagues, this is a real experience, I would sometimes talk to them in English, or say when we're having breaks, just to get to know each other. But when it comes to the patients, the nice thing with the patients, especially in home care, is what I could speak of. And home care here is when you're driving around in elderly homes, they're stationary on one in one place. And elderly homes are easier for me in the language situation, because you have repeated words and phrases that you can pick up and you can use from whichever shift you have, whether you're working day, night, or evening shifts. It's very repetitive, so you can enhance on that. And then when I connect with my colleagues, then you know they like talking in English too. uh, yeah. So jobs where language is especially important. I want to focus on the healthcare because I think that's very important. In IT, I heard you could actually, and I was looking at the on fin.no, finn.no. There are actually ads, no, not ads, job posts that are in English, and you will see it. I might post some job websites that I would highly suggest. finn.no, fin.no. Mm, yeah, there's still some jobs that you could probably find without speaking Norwegian if you're a newcomer, but it really depends. You know, it depends on your situation. If you have some money saved and you just moved here and looking for a job, I'm sure you can find something. And if you have a Scandinavian background, even if it's basic, you'll pick it up right away. What I suggest is to just go out, connect, and keep applying, but also not just applying just for the sake of sending many CVs and hope you'll get an interview, but you also want to reevaluate where you're at and look at what you could improve in yourself to get the job, and be brutally honest with yourself. Don't just not just yeah, like I said, not just from the perspective of quantity over the quality. If Yeah, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, I think I don't have anything else to share on this topic, but I would suggest for the newcomers to start or continue if you're already studying Norwegian. And I wish you all the best. Bye bye.